beseech the Buddhas of all directions to Chandala Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to Chandala Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to Chandala Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to Chandala Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to Chandala Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to Chandala Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to Chandala Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to Chandala Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. With folded hands for all bewildered miseries glow. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to Chandala Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to Chandala Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to Chandala Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to Chandala Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to Chandala Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to Chandala Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to Chandala Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to Chandala Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to Chandala Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to Chandala Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to Chandala Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to Chandala Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to Chandala Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to Chandala Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to Chandala Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to Chandala Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. Okay, thank you. Please take your seats. Okay, so for this retreat, today is going to be the last morning practice, and let us try to make the most of our being together here. And the whole purpose for our doing this morning practice for the last few days is for the reason that we learn how to design one's own daily practice, that how we try to heal our tuberculosis with the consistent taking of the medication, likewise to heal our mind from the fears of the self-grasp, ignorance, self-centered attitude, and then the wrong thoughts, and finally the wrong actions in the form of quantum karmas. How we can fix them is only through consistent practice, like the consistent taking medications for you, for me, for all of us. So therefore, the point is that what does it mean by consistent practice? What should be included? We need to have a very comprehensive practice. Comprehensive, something which is where everything is required. For example, like some of the very smart people, particularly very sensible, the girls, when they travel, almost whatever is required, there is everything in their bag. For example, like you need something is torn, instantly needle comes out. At one time I was so fascinated. Somebody say cut avocado for me, And then the person said that the um, salt, little salt or pinch of salt with avocado combination is very good. And then we looked for search for salt in the guest house, no salt. And that lady had a salt from the bag also. I was amazed. So the point is that we require everything, not just one side. Travel means just a bag and a book. No, bag, book, salt, needle, toothpaste, everything is required. Likewise, your practice, journey of enlightenment, really requires so many things. So what is meant by a comprehensive, complete practice? So this is what we are trying to do here, and some of my friends, they ask me as to they say how to design a complete practice. And in fact, there's one gentleman they who had been doing Dharma practice for extremely pious. Early morning, getting up at like three o'clock, 3:30, and every year, every day, spending 3 hours in recitation, prostration, and so forth. After 20 years, one day he came to me, and then he's older than me. And what he told me was that the last 20 years I've been doing this practice, reading, recitation, prostration, getting up so early. But my 20 years of experience tells me that I have not changed, he said. I'm the same person, anger issue, whatever is there within me is the same person. So where am I going wrong? I said that bring a list of what you've been doing in a day, particularly with Dhamma practice. Then he gave me a long list of what I've been doing every day for like 3 hours, 4 hours, meaning huge list of recitation. So could not finish this, so therefore getting up so early, and having a job. Then I cut down many of these things. I said that these are all repetitions. These are not wrong, but repetitions. You do something so less, but study what you're doing. You have to know what you're doing, and all these meanings should be reflected. And then the included daily meditation, not only recitation, recitation. No, include a part of meditation. So we designed something which would, for him, can finish like within like 1 hour, and then he can spend more of his. So then he did it, and then he started to learn, started to study Dharma. What is renunciation? What is Bodhicitta? What is wisdom emptiness? And then within the renunciation, the four seals, the Bodhicitta, the two methods, he learned everything. Then we set for 1 month retreat. 1 month retreat where he sit where he sat in his own room. Then I said we went outside, and then I did my own retreat, and then every day we meet 1 hour, do some teachings and the discussions. He has some questions he asked me. Then he said that those 1 month he could feel the joy that now there's some transformation taking place. He said the last 1 month of the retreat, this retreat with the studies, experience that he got far excels what he got in the 20 years. So the point is that we need to have, we need to have some personal practice. It's not that this morning practice is a part of the retreat, part of the retreat routine. No, not necessary. We can skip this. In fact, oftentimes when we go through some technical studies, short duration, not having to explain everything. So better is not to have the morning sessions. Maybe some very short sessions, like maximum about 45 minutes. That's it. So this is so here I can say, number one, I can see that the participants, you are very serious. Although many of you are very new, but I can see that you are very serious, number one. Number two, that what I can see is that yes, we have many more days, like almost 10 days. So with this, there's many plus points. We could cover things in more detail, cover more. So because of which, so today being the last day, let us make the most of this in the ways that, okay, this is what I should be doing in as a daily practice. If I'm to grow, say at a moment you may be age 20s, 19, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever age. So the next 5 years, the next 10 years, you should be seeing growth in you. That okay, now this is purpose. The last since I'm going to Tushita with this practice, now I can see that the meaning is deeper, more than just seeking a livelihood and being a nice family member. Instead of these, more than this, I can see that now there's a deeper meaning there. Okay, so with this in mind, all what we're reading is not for the sake of reading. These are the meanings to be reflected, meanings to be reflected, and some of we may not be too keen on reading so much. I personally don't the because I see benefit reading this, so therefore I do it. Otherwise, I personally would rather spend more time meditating rather than reading all these materials. But say the reading, if the meanings are not reflected, then I would not do it at all. So meanings reflected, these will bring change in your mind because that meanings that reflected by your thought processes. So with the words, meaning reflected, thought process activated, these the thought processes activated will make your the practice meditation richer, more profound. So that is the purpose. Whereas if you spend too much reading and no meditation, then again is not much point. Okay. And then I don't expect that all of us to remember everything. When you go on your own, when you leave this place, then the morning practice, what he did, what we did. I don't expect you to remember everything. So the recordings are here. So you can take the recording and once in a while you can listen to the recording, and then if you want to make notes as the bullet point for you to remember. Say the points to remember during your meditation, during your the recitation. So this is what we need to do. Okay, if you want to interest in the recordings, you can contact our there are two staff there. This is Ravindra, our IT staff, and Kamala. They will help you to coordinate. They are very effective. So they will just send you right away. Not here. They all have to be edited. So we'll send you right away, and then that will help. Okay, and even the whole retreat. The Virukumpela, if you want to keep it record here, you record here, and then individually, if you want the recording, you can ask for this recording from Tinsaramela. He will send you the links. Okay. 3 points to keep in mind for any virtuous practice. 1. The refuge field. Visualize Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the enlightened beings, particularly the author of the text, Lama Tsongkhapa, and I will identify as some of the masters, and even if you don't know who they are, don't worry, you will eventually come to know this if you have been consistent with this practice. Are Manjushri, Are Valuteshvara, Are Maitreya, Are Vajrapane, Are Thara, Are Manjushri, Are Sangha, Bodhisattva, Are Deva, Acharya Vasubandhu, Acharya Nagabodhi, Acharya Buddhapalita, and Acharya Dignaka, Acharya Dharmakirti, and Acharya Chandrakirti, Bodhisattva Shanti Deva, Bodhisattva Shanti Rakshita, Acharya Kamal Shil, Lama Silingpa from Indonesia, Lama Atisha Bangar Shri Gyana, and Guru Padma Sambhava, Sajan Kunga Nyingbo, Sajan Pandita, the great master Saraha, great master Telupa, great master Naropa, Chizumarpa, Chizumila, Chizutapalaji, and all these enlightened beings, and your own personal teachers who are inspiration for you in terms of bodhicitta and in terms of wisdom and emptiness. and they imagine, visualize that they are watching you with so much love and affection and care. Bodhicitta feel, visualize your two kind parents and all the family members, including children and all the human beings, animals, insects, hungry ghosts, spirits, god and goddesses, living on the side here in Tushita, in India, in your own country, in the entire world, in the entire Milky Way galaxy, in the entire universe. All the creatures in the ocean, from the tiniest amoeba to the gigantic blue whales, to the tiniest insects in the wilderness, to the biggest of the elephants, and so forth. Just visualize all of them with you. Everyone has this Buddha nature. And imagine that you're looking at them with so much love and affection and care. Meanwhile, thinking that, with the recognition that self-grasping, self-centered attitude is the demon which brings to your own destruction, and the other cherishing is the safe haven to protect you, to take you closer towards fearlessness and infinite happiness. With this mind, seeing all these beings, you see them as your extremely loving parents, children, kins, and so forth, and then safe haven for you to be protected from all the fears of samsara. And the purpose of this practice is to awaken the Buddha nature within us. By remove the metal dirt, so the gold inside will start to glow. The gold of the Buddhahood will glow. And how to remove the mental defilements? By resorting to a very powerful remedy. And the remedy, now we know, that is wisdom of emptiness. And to what extent this very sharp axe will cut the poisonous tree is determined by the enthusiasm, the determination of the woodcutter. Likewise, we require extremely powerful determination, the willpower, which is a bodhicitta, the desire to become Buddha for the benefit of demonstration beings. And that must be supported by the incredibly great compassion towards all the beings for the enormity of the suffering that they are going through, and which in turn should happen through one's own experience of what the three kinds of sufferings are, within yourself, and then the very strong renunciation with respect to you desiring to be freed from suffering, and then extending it to other beings, incredible great compassion, with the support of which you generate bodhicitta. This enthusiasm will pick up the axe, or pick up the very powerful remedy which is the wisdom of emptiness, to cut the poisonous tree of this self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude for yourself, and teach this wisdom to all the other demonstration beings. That's the whole purpose. With this mind, imagine that all beings are joining you in this practice, and all beings are bodhisattvas. All Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they're watching us with so much love and affection and care. Page 3. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sanye joda zoge chonam lo chanchu bardo dane gyabzo che dage jinso gebe sonam ge chola benjire sanye jubare shu
Sanye Joda Zoge Jonam Loi Chancho Bardo Dane Yabzo She Dage Jinso Gebe Sonam Ge Dola Benjere Sanye Dubare Sho Sanye Joda Zoge Chancho Bardo Dane Yabzo She Dage Jinso Gebe Sonam Ge Dola Benjere Sanye Dubare Sho Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is free of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, which through the knowledge of all lead here seeking pacification to complete peace, which through the knowledge of past achieves the aims of the world, and through the possession of which helps subdue its expand a variety of teachings, the one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sukata and protector to your administrations, the one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines for the forever noble light rays, to you the Buddha make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I chant the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Dathagato Yavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaya Swaha Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Dathagato Yavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaya Swaha Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Dathagato Yavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaya Swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation causes as well as taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light and non-composite. Such is the nectar of dharma I have discovered. Finding no one to fathom this teaching, in silence I return to words. Beyond utterance, thought and expression is a perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space, is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the three times of the obeisance. Okay, let me quickly explain this. Beyond utterance. So when you experience the emptiness directly, so what you experience emptiness directly is extremely the what obstructs with me, with us, that it cannot be expressed in words, beyond utterance, thought. And you're conceptualizing the thoughts, they create an image, and then this beyond this image is a bare experience. Beyond thought, an expression is the perfection of wisdom, the direct realization of wisdom, which is unborn. In that experience, what is that experience? The emptiness experience is unborn. Unborn meaning there's no arising. No arising. Arising dissolves. No ceasing. Ceasing dissolves. It says unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space. What is space? Space is the marked by no obstruction, nothing to the as something which obstructs. So likewise, everything's cleared. All these things are dissolved in the within experience, vast expanse of the emptiness dissolve. So like space, it is no elaborations to be seen. They're all dissolved in this experience of the emptiness. Like space, It is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. So what exactly is this? Whenever we convey the what it is, like emptiness, non-affirming, negative, and so forth, we have to converse through the conceptual thought. So the conceptual thought, they create an image, and the image of the pizza is not the real pizza. Image of the pizza is not real pizza. So, but then image of pizza is so helpful. But with this image of the pizza, later on when you go to a shop or the restaurant, you say, oh, this is what I like. I know somebody showed me the image of the pizza. Now this is pizza. So this is so precious. What we learn, study, reflection, meditate is so precious that eventually you see that this is through your own self-realization that the experience emptiness will dawn in you. To you, and with this experience, all the grasping, apprehending things object real dissolves. Then gradually, appearance of things object real will dissolve. Two things. You understand what I said? First, apprehension of things object real will dissolve. That will free you from all forms of fears of samsara. You become fearless. Then the appearance, then the next layer. Appearance of things object real will dissolve. That will free you from all the cognitive obscurations. Thereby you attain full Buddhahood. You're getting it? So this experience of the emptiness, that is a mother. What is a mother? Giving rise to the children. Likewise, this wisdom emptiness is the mother to give rise to the Buddhas. Buddhas of the past, present, and the future. So it says, to you, the mother of the Buddhas of the three times I be obeisance. Okay, let's read this once more. This is so precious. If you can recite this every day, before you recite the Heart Sutra mantra, that will be so good. But reflect on meanings, and it will leave a special imprint within your mind. So every day you recite it, every day you leave imprints of this. And with which, then when you actually meditate on emptiness, it'll come to you more quickly and more vibrantly, and then the direct realization, the chances was much more. Okay. Beyond utterance, thought and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unseen, and has the nature of space. It is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of three times I be obeisance. The four seasons of the Buddha's teachings, all composite things are impermanent, all contaminated things are the nature of suffering, all phenomena are the nature of emptiness and selflessness, transcending sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is also everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of eons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of suchness that the beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. Instructions on parting from the four attachments. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Page 14. Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, for destroyer, completely perfected, fully awakened one, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme God of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the complete and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings and go for refuge. When, O supreme amongst humans, you are born on this earth, you pace out 7 strides, then set up supreme in this world. To you who are wise, then I prostrate. With pure bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, wind of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme science, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Prostrate like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparable wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, field of merit qualities like a vast ocean, to you the Tathagata I prostrate, the purity that frees from attachment, the virtue that frees from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dhamma that pacifies self-restraint. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the Sangha prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, an illusion, a drop or two, or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud. The conditioned things as such. Through this merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all seeing, subdue the four faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, but hurt by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. Page 29, Heart Sutra. Heart Sutra, Perfection Wisdom Sutra. I prostrate to the array triple gem. Thus did I at one time. The Buddha was dwelling on a massive Vulture's mountain in Rajgir, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Buddha was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound illumination. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound illumination of wisdom and beheld those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then through the power of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokiteshvara. How should any child of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom train? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra. Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly, beholding those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is no other than form. Form is also no other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, composite factors, and consciousness is empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are empty, without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no composite factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomenon. There is no I element and so on up to and including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There is no extinction of ignorance and so on up to and including no aging and death and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering or origination, cessation of the path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas to rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, there is the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly completely awaken to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, unsurpassed mantra, mantra that equal to the unequaled, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering should be known as truth, since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared, Teyatha Om Gade Gade Bara Gade Bara Sam Gade Bodhi Swaha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Buddha arose from that concentration and commanded the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage. Even the Tathagatas rejoiced. The Buddha having thus spoken, Venerable Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokiteshvara, those around in the entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, and gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that is spoken by the Buddha. Would you just imagine that you are on the Vulture's Peak in Rajgir, and the Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Lama Aravalokiteshvara, Shariputra, and all the Buddha's Bodhisattvas are there, so loving, caring, embracing, and you, surrounded by all the family members, your children, and all demonstration beings living inside. And imagine that you are hearing what the Buddha Shakyamuni is exhorting us, where the Buddha exhorts, don't remain in the fears of samsara. Come to His ultimate happiness. Awaken your Buddha nature and come along with all the demonstration beings to the state of fearlessness in infinite happiness. And you hearing what the Bodhisattva is exhorting, you then inform this all your demonstration beings, all the sentient beings. Look, this is what a compassionate teacher is exhorting. Let us not remain in the tears and the fears of samsara anymore. Let us all go towards awakening of Buddha nature to the state of the ultimate happiness, the way and manner in which our compassionate teacher Buddha Shakyamuni resides. Everybody hearing what he's saying, they are so inspired to join you in this journey of cleansing the mind of the mental defilements, to retrieve your incredibly precious treasure, the treasure of ultimate happiness, the Buddha nature. Deyatam gade gade paragate parasam gade bodhisvatyata om gade gade paragate parasam gate bodhisvatyata om gate gate paragate parasam gate bodhisvatyata om gate gate paragate parasam gate bodhisvatyata om gate gate paragate parasam gate bodhisvaha. By the teachings of three supreme jewels possessing power of truth, may inner and outer hindrances be transformed, may they be dispelled, may they be non-existent, may they be pacified, may all negative forces opposed to the Dharma be completely pacified, may the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified, may we be separate from problems and conditions harmful to the Dharma, may all enjoyments be in accord with the Dharma, may auspices of perfect happiness pervade this place now. Okay, 8 verse of mind training. Next page, page 35, by Geshe-la Thamba. This is primarily to increase your bodhicitta, and by the working from two sides. One, eradicating the non-conducive factors like ego, anger, and so forth, and then on the other side, on the other hand, the invigorating the factors, the conducive factors for bodhicitta. And how to get rid of the anger, ego, and so forth, by identifying the cause. What can trigger anger? What can trigger on the ego? And then identify them, they remove them, and then the ego, anger automatically subsides. And meanwhile, they enrich your the compassion, they invigorate your compassionate the side with the two methods which we are learning. Okay. With the determination to achieve the highest aim, for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, may I hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as a Luvis amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart, respectfully hold others as superior. In all my deeds, may I probe it in my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character, and those oppressed by strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as if I have discovered a jeweled treasure. When others out of jealousy treat me wrongly with abuse, slander, and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I have helped or in whom I have placed great hopes, may God him still as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer a benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. May all these remain undefiled by the stains of the eight mundane concerns, and may recognizing all things as illusions, devoid of clinging, be released from bondage. From our two collections, vast the space that I've amassed, from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdom is blinded by ignorance. Okay, seventh practice to prepare ourselves on the journey to enlightenment, like prepare ourselves for a long journey. We make sure that we have everything packed in a bag, likewise to accumulate merit and to purify the negativity so that your journey is very smooth. Settlement practice, excerpt from the King of Prayers, the extraordinary aspiration of the practice of Samadhi. I bow down to you, youthful Radha Manjushri, you, the Buddhas among in the worlds of 10 directions. To all of you with body, space, and sincere mind, I bow down. With the energy or aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect, and with as many bodies as atoms of the world, to all you Buddhas visualized as real, I bow down. On every particle of Buddhas, numberless as particles, each amidst a host of Bodhisattvas, and I'm confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with the Buddhas in this way. With infinite oceans of praise for you and oceans of sound from the aspects of my voice, I sing the breathtaking excellence of Buddhas and celebrate all of you Sugatas. Beautiful flowers and regal garlands, sweet music, scented walls and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense are offered to victorious ones, the Buddhas. Fine dress and fragrant perfumes, sandalwood powder heaped high as Mount Meru, all wonders offering in spectacular array offered to victorious ones. With transcendent offerings, peerless and vast, with a profound admiration for all the Buddhas, with strong conviction in the Bodhisattva way, I offer and bow down to all victorious ones. Every harmful action I've done with my body, speech, and mind, overwhelmed by attachment, anger, and ignorance, all these are openly laid bare before you. Of solitary realizers here still training and those beyond, of all you who are the bright lights of the worlds in 10 directions, who have attained the Buddha's omniscience through the stage of awakening, all you who are my guides, please turn the supreme wheel of Dharma. With palms together, I earnestly request who you please stay with us for aeons, numberless as atoms of the world, for the happiness and well-being of all the wanderers in samsara. Whatever slight merit I may have accumulated by making prostrations, offering and confessing, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddhas say and teach, I now dedicate all this for the full awakening of all beings. Okay, Mandal offering, page 40. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as the Buddha filled and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure land. O Sajabhage Joshimendo Tam Rab Shayen Da Gambade Sanya Shendo Meda Bhuvaye Choganam Dajala Chabarasho. The four Dhammas of Venerable Gampopa. May I bless that my mind is directed towards the Dharma. May I be blessed that my Dharma practices on the proper path. May I be blessed that the path is free of flaws. And may I be blessed that the flaws are seen in the Lord of exalted wisdom. The four Dhammas of Venerable Bhikshu Mahasattva. Becoming utterly frustrated with the ignorance that grasps with true existence, please bless me to generate genuine renunciation, seeing all aspects of samsara as visually repulsive, Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious Bodhicitta that cherishes others more than myself. Please bless me to have an immaculate experience of the wisdom of emptiness that does not see even an atom of intrinsic reality on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent origination through mere conditioning. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious wisdom of the non-duality, the bliss and emptiness. Idam Guru Ratna Mende Lagam Nirateyami. Okay, the foundation of all good qualities, the roadmap, the roadmap to enlightenment by Laban Tsongkhapa. The foundation of all good qualities is a kind and perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly day and night takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After that, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of virtues and non-virtues come as follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativity, and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is the door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of the teaching is keeping the Pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so have all mother migratory beings. Please bless me to say this, train in supreme bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Even if I develop bodhicitta but don't practice the three types of morality, I'll not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the Bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I pacify distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyze the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly with my mind stream the unified path of karma abiding special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training in the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the two attainments is keeping vows and samaya. As I become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pleasure my life. Then, having realized the importance of the two stages, the essence of Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who show the noble path and the spiritual friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all out and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separated from perfect Gurus, may enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stages and the paths, may clearly attain the state of Vajradhara. You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroyer of hosts of demons without exception, Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sages of the land of snows, Losam Trapa at your feet and make prostrations. Lo sa tra be sham lo so dem me me ze ve de je re se Kembe wambo jambe yam jen ke be zo ge zo ka ba lo sa cha be sha la so wa le me me ze re te je je re se te me ke me om bo jam be yang ka je ke me zo ge zo ka mo lo sa cha me sha la so wa de. You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion, a Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroyer of hosts of demons without exception, Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sages of the land of snows, Losangtaba at your feet and make prostrations. We can next reading the concept of yoga and taking the aspiration Bodhicitta vow, for which we have the four things. Number one, shamatha practice, renunciation, bodhicitta, wisdom emptiness, and then taking the aspiration bodhisattva vow. Ready? Shamatha practice. Okay, now no need of instruction. You already know, but the most important, remember, particularly when you leave the after the retreat, you go you to respected places. When you do the meditation, let's make sure that particularly we are being very careful with the errors of meditation, laxity and excitement. And when these two things happen, apply the remedies, mindfulness, introspection. Okay, good. 5 minutes. Okay, next, renunciation. That's going to be on the basis of the four seals, and it's going to be a guided meditation. And as always, I'd like to remind you that the instructions given, don't try to correlate or compare contrast with what we studied before, what we've read before, and so forth. This is the time that we take advantage to invoke the experiences to the best you can. And if you like to compare contrast, you can. Not now, later on after this session, then you can do that. For time being, is opportunity for us to invoke the experiences to the best you can. Already, renunciation. Renunciation means to renounce the miseries, not to renounce the happiness. To renounce the miseries, we need to know how to renounce the causes of the miseries. The Buddha taught ye dharma hetu prabhava. Hetum tesham tathagato hyavata. All these phenomena arise from the causes. There's no room for randomness. And what these causes are is taught by the Tathagata. And the causes now we learned, as Arinnagarjuna indicated, ceasing karma self-afflictions is nirvana. Karma self-afflictions arise from the conceptualization of inappropriate attention, which in turn arises from the self-grasping, elaboration of self-grasping ignorance, and this elaboration ceases through the wisdom of emptiness. So we see that eventually, or finally, all miseries they are rooted to ignorance. And Buddha identified four levels of ignorance. Of course, there are so many kinds of ignorance, but the Buddha identified four which are so directly related to our miseries. Misconceiving impermanent phenomena as permanent, misconceiving impure things as pure, misconceiving miseries as happiness, misconceiving what is selfless nature as of selfhood. To eradicate these four, the misconceptions or the ignorance, the Buddha taught the four seals. All composite things impermanent. All what is composed of material parts or temporal parts should necessarily entail, should be impermanent nature. Like your physical world that you live in, your physical body, your mind, and yourself, your friends, the things you like, the things you dislike. And Buddha's composite phenomena should necessarily impermanent in ways that impermanence is of two kinds, gross and subtle. It's important, very important for us to, first of all, reflect on the gross impermanence. Impermanence where the continuum terminates. And particularly in the context of the Lamrim practice, impermanence of death. Let's just think of the beautiful days that we had during during your childhood, your youth. And about these beautiful days, they're all gone. Festivities, birthdays, and so forth, merriments, New Year's, they're all gone. People enjoy adventure. People enjoy holidays. People enjoy sightseeing. People enjoy the sun setting. And people enjoy the waves. Where they know they're all gone. If you don't believe, any moment of enjoyment that you have, for example, like having cheesecake or good breakfast or whatever, just think of these. While we are partaking, enjoying these, just remember that even this will also pass. And the next moment when it passes, tell yourself that yes, I did tell this, I did say this, and it is true. That is what exactly happens. So this applies to all the composite, the mundane happiness. 200 years ago, there were people of your same age who were younger than you, who were older than you, and some into indulgence, some into Dhamma practice, some very neutral, and the parents have so much expectation from the children. They feel joy over the birth of the children, daughters, sons, and so forth. They celebrate. They spend so much on this, and children they keep growing and having expectation for the career plans for career, so forth. And where are these people now? All gone. But the day one, a newborn child, or the mother taking care of the child, or the parent, the family members all celebrating this birth. Whether the aims are accomplished or not, they're all gone. Not even a single person is left today. It's not that we are more lucky that these are unlucky people, they are gone and we are still alive. No, it's just a matter of time. 200 years down the line in the future, not even a single person out of 8 billion human beings will be alive then. That's 100% sure. And except for few, except 1 out of 1 billion people who can really attain the state of the deathlessness. Otherwise, all of us, no matter how much times we receive long life, the long life empowerments will die within 40, 50, 60, 70, maximum 100. And nowadays in the planet Earth, we see that there's somebody in 117 or 118 like this. Otherwise, by 200 years from now, in the future, everyone will be gone. This is reality. And with some sort of excuse, oh, because of this, because of that, there's no because of this. Actually, people leaving. This is reality. So this is known as all compensating sin, but in ways of on the level of the gross impermanence. And the Buddha very clearly indicated whatever stands will fall, whatever is gathered will disperse, whatever is accumulated will exhaust, and whatever is born will die. This extreme reality which the Buddha summarized massive information, massive reality into a simple line. Yes, and this what we see is impermanent, which otherwise they go unnoticed from our mind. Only when we reflect, we see how true they are, that they're impermanent. So this impermanence that you see, whose continuum terminates, is possible only if the changes happen on the level of the change you see over the span of 10 years is possible only if the change happen on the yearly basis, monthly basis, weekly basis, hourly basis, minute by minute basis, second by second basis, millisecond by millisecond basis. In other words, all what is complex phenomena should necessarily be going through this momentary change, millisecond by millisecond. They are moving so fast. If you think of this, you see, uncover a subtle reality. It's very just extremely scary for many of us. Your bodies move so fast. Your mind moves so fast. The people who you love, they move so fast. Move fast means then a question come to, where are you going? If somebody is very static, nobody will ask. But when somebody is so busy running here, where are you running? Where are you going? Yes, this question comes, where are we going? Where are we heading towards? So, remember, it's like a stranger throwing you into a very fast moving train. Faster train moves, more the fear. Why? We don't know where this train is moving. We come to know that who decides where this train moves? It's decided the train driver. And oftentimes, if the train driver is under the dictate, under the control of the terrorists, or no doubt will take us only to the slaughterhouse. In that case, our mind is the train driver. And mind is under the dictate of the worst of the contaminations, which is self-grasping ignorance, and the soft shoots in the form of inappropriate attention, afflictions, and the contaminant karmas. As long as our mind, the driver, is under the dictate of these contaminations, they only take us to miseries. Like miseries like what? Suffering, suffering change, and the pervasive condition of suffering. In other words, till we realize emptiness directly, all whatever we experience, somehow they are in one form or the other, three kinds of suffering. Suffering, manifest suffering, the fear of the COVID-19, the fear of loss of near and dear ones, loss of near and dear ones, your own illnesses, anything can happen to us anytime. Suffering, and suffering change. While we don't like to experience the suffering, but something is trapping us to continue to experience suffering. What is that? The suffering change, the bait, like the lure of the contaminated happiness. And what is the mechanism like? This mechanism is masterminded by the pervasive conditioned suffering that we are under the dictate of the contaminant karmas afflictions, particularly self-grasping ignorance, throwing us into samsara endlessly, involuntary birth, one after the other, one after the other, perpetuating without any stop. This is the meaning of the all contaminating suffering nature. And one moment of the suffering is good enough. The loss of near and dear ones is good enough. The fear of the terminal illness is good enough to nullify all the past moments of merriments, festivities, birthday parties, wedding parties, marriages, and so forth. They're all so shallow, hollow, nothing, and life is too short. When we are in the grip of this contaminated happiness, we see the life is so long. When we are in the grip of the suffering, one moment of suffering, tragedy, suffering, like terminal illness or the loss of near and dear ones and so forth, our lives is so short. There's nothing worth to really celebrate. So short. And whatever we earlier saw so long duration as beautiful life, festivities, merriments, celebrations, birthday parties, and so forth, they're all seen as so hollow, shallow, meaningless in the eyes of the one moment experience of tragedy. Yes, and then having to shed tears after tears after tears. Coming together, if is a disaster, fights and so forth, every moment is a death. And if the coming together is so beautiful, separation is acutely painful. And then that meeting together as what the beautiful moment is seems so brief. And having to shed tears of the separation is so much. And so agonizingly painful. And this is, if there's good, there's a problem. If there's bad, there's a problem. This is samsara. So wise people would think of, when will these miseries stop? When will this stop? 2023 start on its own a few months ago. And when will this stop? The tears will stop. The painful, agonizingly painful tears stop. When will they stop? They will never stop on its own. They will stop only if you exert a concerted effort, a proper effort. What is that effort required? So look at the cause of the miseries. Then you will realize what the effort should be like. And the cause of miseries, yes, the last 10 days we learned about how contaminant karmas are responsible for the miseries, and how the afflictions are responsible for the contaminant karmas, how the inappropriate tensions are responsible for the gross afflictions, and how the self-grasping ignorance is responsible for the inappropriate tension. Yes, finally, the culprit is the self-grasping ignorance. After exterminate this, yes, what are you going to do? Yes, I have to resort to a very powerful remedy. What is that remedy? The wisdom of emptiness. What is the wisdom of emptiness? Okay, let's quickly meditate on the emptiness of yourself. Because we see that in all the problems that we go through, there are two things happening, there are two things involved, the subject and object. And the object wise, it can be different all the time, but the subject wise is always the same thing. I. So they are the coming together of the two misconceptions: misconception of the I, the person, and misconception of the object. Coming together, it erupts into the sound of misery. So if you remove one hand, it's good enough to stop the sound of the clap. So say that today, while it is good for us to meditate on emptiness of both object and subject, but today we'll do the meditation on emptiness of the subject, which is the self. So let's meditate on emptiness of the self, yourself. What are you doing? I'm meditating. What is your body doing? My body is in meditative posture. Good. And how does this person who identifies you as I appear to you? Like a dream that your mind is projecting it, or no, it's nothing to do with the mind. It's so objectively there, so solidified, so objectified. There, of course, so solidified and so objectified there. This belief is self-grasping ignorance. This is the root of all the miseries. Okay. How do you know that this belief is not a valid mind and instead ignorance? How do you know that? In other words, how do we know that this self who identifies as I exists objectively or not? How do you know? How do you evaluate this? For this, remember what Nagarjuna taught. If the mirage in his text, Precious Garden or Ratnamala or Ratnavali, if the mirage were to be water, one of those close by the mirage see water. In a similar token of reasoning, if this self who identifies I to be existing objectively, why do I see this self as I go close to its object? Okay, now let us go close to the object to evaluate if this self exists objectively or not. Subjecting this self to this, going closer to the object is known as subjecting self to ultimate analysis. Subjecting this ultimate analysis, this self to the ultimate analysis. So what if it's not this self in the eyes of this ultimate analysis? Let's just ignore, because you are interested to look for, here you are looking for the objective existence self or the present. Going closer, you will see the thin layers of skin of your body. Behind that, the fatty tissues. Behind that, the muscles, cartilages, the whole skeleton, the heart, the lungs, the liver, pancreas, spleen, intestine, stomach, gallbladder. Okay. This all parts constitute element of earth. And this element of earth, of course, is not to be identified intrinsically as the I. Element of water. 4 liters of blood which is pumped in and out by the heart to the different parts of the body. Of course, that is not me. Element fire. 2,600 joules of energy that, in other words, the body heat. Of course, that is not to be identified as object as I. Element of air. 4.6 liters of air that you breathe in and out through your lungs. Of course, that's not me. Element space. 99.99% of our body is vacuum space, but it's not me. I'm a solid person, space vacuum in nature. Element of consciousness or the element of mind. I'm a male, I'm a non-male, I'm a female, I'm a non-female. This gender is decided, gender is posited on the basis of the body, and my mind doesn't have a gender, so therefore this mind is also not me. And also that people can see me, people cannot see my mind. From that point of view, even this element of consciousness, element of mind is also not me. Yes. Now what are you saying? Earlier what have you seen? Earlier I've seen this self, which I identify as I, as so objectively, intrinsically real. Don't forget that experience. And that's in lieu of your the essential of identify object negation. Now that you have been subjecting this self to ultimate analysis, you have seen these 6 elements so clearly. What do you see now? I'm seeing the 6 elements. Which of the 6 elements is to be identified as the self in light of ultimate analysis, which means objectively as one with the self? Which of 6 elements? Or collectively? None. If you're very sure of this, yes, each of the elements is very scary if they come on its own. to you is very scary to look at. But I'm not scary to look at. I'm very pleasant. So this are not to be identified as one with the self. If you're very sure of this, you get the second essential understanding the emptiness of the objects being one with its parts, intrinsic one with its parts. Now, if this self is not to be identified as intrinsic one with its parts, remove all the six elements, see if it is different from the parts. Remove the six elements, what is left? Nothing is left there. If you're very sure of this, you understood this third essential understanding the emptiness of objects being intrinsically different from its parts. Okay. Given that these are the two alternatives for the self to exist objectively, and having ruled out these two possibilities, it entails ruling out the self to exist objectively real. Are you sure? Yes. This provision, if you got it, you got the fourth essential of the provision. Understanding the provision that anything which is empty of intrinsic one and is different from its parts entails the emptiness of the objective existence of the object. Okay, now tell me, where is this self in the eyes of this ultimate analysis? Where is this self exist from the object? No way to be seen. Stay in this experience with this self, six elements, atoms and so forth. They're innumerable isolates. Of these innumerable isolates, pick up the isolate of the emptiness of this self as object real. In other words, objectively, this self does not exist. Pick up this isolate in the form of non-affirming negative. Stay in this experience for a while. Okay, this is also referred to as the meditative equipoise of the space like emptiness. Now imagine you come out of this meditation. Coming out of means your mind switches from ultimate analysis to the conventional analysis. Again the self comes back. Again you subject to the same ultimate analysis. Again the self disappears. Move to the conventional analysis. Again the self comes back. There's constant change happening here in the perception. On the object is just the same. There's no change. But subjectively there's a change happening. And whatever is involved in this the change, this is a part of the subjective. So the self being the part of this, it comes and goes, comes, goes, comes, goes. And it's purely subjective. It appears from the object is empty. If you're aware of this and seeing the self with a clear recognition that it is empty from the object and yet appears, therefore it is illusion-like. If you're sure of this, this is the point number 5. Post-meditative experience of this space like emptiness. Yes. Okay, now go back to the experience, ultimate analysis, where you see the six elements. Ask yourself 2 questions. What are you seeing? I'm seeing 6 elements. Where is the self? The self is no way to be seen objectively. Stay in this experience for a while. In this asset of non-affirming negative. A tinge of a fear can come on you. Goosebumps can come on you. Tickling sensations can happen. Cold waves can flow through the body. Extremely triangular experience can come to you which you never had it before. If any of these indications come, you're extremely meritorious. Yet if not, don't worry. Study more. Reflect more of the Arya-Nagarjuna's text, Acharya Chandrakirti's text. Then gradually you will have these experiences. Wow, this experience is so profound. But what's the benefit of this meditation? Yes, just as the self dissolves in the experience of emptiness, likewise all your sorrows, all the conventional truths, including sickness, aging, death, tension, depression, anxiety, stress, the mental disturbance, sorrows, they all dissolve when subject to the same analysis, ultimate analysis. Likewise, they will all dissolve into the expanse of emptiness. Sorrow dissolves. Dissolution of sorrow is the transcendence of sorrow. Transcendence of sorrow is absolute peace. For the first time you experience absolute peace. This is what is known as the uncontaminated happiness, uncontaminated peace. Generate a very strong aspiration. May I soon experience very confidently, with confidence, to sustain this experience of the emptiness where all my sorrows are transcended. This aspiration is known as the final understanding of, most refined understanding, most subtle understanding of renunciation. Stay in this experience for a while. Okay, good. Come out. Okay, let's take a few seconds break before we move to Bodhicitta. Are you ready? For the Bodhicitta practice, given that this is extremely precious practice, we need so much of blessings, inspirations, and role models. For this, let us visualize all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, so loving, caring, embracing. Just imagine the mother and her only daughter and only child. How the mother embraces the child with so much love and affection. This is exactly, you can see the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in this form. Alongside Bodhicitta field, visualize your two parents on two sides. All the family members, including children, and all the emotions mix with you. Here you are like the mother, and all others like children. And we'll do this on the base on the four mesh balls to be concluded by the Bodhicitta aspiration. While when you're by yourself or on your own, you can do the two methods of the Bodhicitta directly. Of course, the four mesh balls as a preliminary practice. Ready? Imagine loving kindness. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the cause of happiness. Cause of happiness primarily consisting of the fearless wisdom of emptiness and the most beautiful mind of the Bodhicitta. May all my dear sentient beings be endowed with happiness and the cause of happiness. I will take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the cause of happiness. The Buddha's Bodhisattvas witnessing that we're making such a courageous commitment, like the mother after all these many years of hardship in raising her children. Today, the eldest daughter, just aged 12, and the son, aged 11. Two of them come to the mother, telling the mother, Mother, please take rest. You have done everything for us. You love us so much. And we also love you so much. Thank you so much. We're all grown up now. You'll take care of all our siblings. Please take rest. And the mother could not believe her eyes and ears, extremely happy and proud, the tears of joy flowing. This is exactly what is happening to all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. They are feeling so proud of you today. This pride and happiness invoke. Their compassionate minds, compassionate omniscient minds will send forth nectars of soothing lights towards you and all demonstration beings. The mere touch of lights and nectars with the bodies is yours. Instills in all happiness and the cause of happiness in the minds of sentient beings, yourself. And you witnessing such a medical acceptance was already demonstrated beings, you intense happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sign with relief. immeasurable compassion. How good would it be that all my dim sentient beings are freed from suffering and the cause of suffering? Cause of suffering primarily consists of self-grasping ignorance and offshoots in form of inappropriate tension, gross afflictions, and the karmic karmas, complemented by self-centered attitude. May all my dear sentient beings be freed from suffering, three kinds of suffering, along with the cause of suffering. I will take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. The Buddha's Bodhisattvas witnessing that you make such a courageous commitment, their intense happiness and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke their compassion of omniscience to send forth nectar every soothing light towards you and all dear sentient beings. They mere touch of light nectars with the bodies because yours. Washes of all the miseries and cause of miseries from all dear sentient beings in yourself. And you witnessing what is happening to all our dear sentient beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Next, immeasurable joy. And some people ask the question, what's the difference between immeasurable joy and immeasurable loving kindness? Loving kindness is where you wish the other person, other beings have happiness or cause happiness. Whereas in the case of the immeasurable joy, you already see that the beings are endowed with happiness already. And this happiness they already have, they can disappear. So the joy wishes that this happiness becomes stable. They are not separated from the happiness which they are already endowed with. With the loving kindness, they may not have the happiness, so you are like wishing them or giving them the happiness. So the second one is where they already have the happiness, you want them that this happiness should be stable. Not like somebody becomes sick and the person recovers, again the next becomes sick, so you wish that this recovery should be stable. So the happiness that the beings are already endowed with, you wish that the happiness be stable, that they are not separate from the happiness. This is the difference. Okay, immeasurable joy. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are never separated from happiness and the causes of happiness that they're endowed with? May all my dear sentient beings never be separated from happiness and the causes of happiness that they're endowed with. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are never separated from happiness and the causes of happiness that they're endowed with. The Buddha's Bodhisattvas witnessing that you're making such a courageous commitment, they are intensely happy and proud of you. This happiness and pride invoke the compassionate minds within them to send forth nectars of very soothing light towards you and all dear sentient beings. The mere touch of light and nectars with the body experience yours stabilizes the happiness and the causes of happiness that the beings are endowed with. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening towards all the demonstration beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths and with relief. Next, immeasurable equanimity. How good would it be that all my sentient beings are freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others, and instead abide in the great state of equanimity, embracing all other sentient beings with total love and affection, leaving none aside. May all my dear mother sentient beings be freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others. I will take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings are freed from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others. The Buddhas Bodhisattvas witnessing that you make such a courageous commitment, their intense happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke their compassion of niche minds through sensual nectars of soothing lights towards you and all the sentient beings. The mere touch of lesson nectars with the body's is yours. Frees the beings from the biased attitude of excessive attachment towards some and aversion towards others, and making them abide in the great state of equanimity, embracing all other demonstrations with total love and affection, leaving them aside. And you witnessing such medical acceptance towards all other demonstrations makes you intense happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Underscoring all the four immeasurables is the unconditional love towards all the beings. Just about in this incredibly beautiful mind for unconditional love of all the beings. This is the ground for you to generate Bodhicitta. This is the ground for you to awaken your Buddha nature. This is the ground for you to experience the total fearlessness and infinite happiness. Amazing. Just imagine that you look in the eyes, look at the glittering eyes of all the sentient beings to the extent that each one of them feels themselves so special in your eyes. With folded hands, let us make a Bodhicitta commitment 3 times together, wholeheartedly. It can be for superficial, it doesn't matter. Because of this, we call it practice. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. Just about in this most incredibly, most beautiful mind that possibly exists in the whole universe. Amazingly beautiful. Slowly transform this beautiful mind of Bodhicitta into a spotless, clean moon disk, horizontally sitting with the heart. Okay, that's amazing that we made such a courageous commitment to become Buddha for the benefit of all demonstrated beings. But remember, no matter how much you squeeze a handful of sand, no oil comes out. Yes, I know that. I'm not like handful of sand. Instead, I'm like a handful of sunflower seeds, squeezing which oil does come out. But if that is the case, if you have the Buddha nature within you, how come that since time primordially it never is activated? Yes, that's true. It's all because that till today I'm being deceived by the 2 demons, self-grasping, ignorance, self-centered attitude. And today I'm going to exterminate them. They are no more my friends. These are demons. I'm going to exterminate it too. They stop. They attract all fears and steal our happiness from me and from all the demonstrated beings. I'm going to exterminate these 2. What are you going to do to exterminate these 2? I'm going to resort to a very powerful remedy. What is that? The wisdom of emptiness, the direct realization of the emptiness of the Arya Bodhisattvas. What is that like? Okay, let's quickly retrieve the experience of emptiness, which you meditated as the 3rd seal. What are you doing? I'm meditating. And how does this person appear to who he identifies I? As objective real or like a dream? Subjective real? Of course, objective real soul, objectifying there. If you identify this properly, this is in lieu of identify object negation. Okay, how do we evaluate that this self exists as intrinsically real or not? Remember what Nagarjuna taught. If the mirage were to be water, one of those close by the mirage, see water. Okay, so now let us go closer to the subject. This is known as subjecting this person to ultimate analysis. Subjecting this person to ultimate analysis, which is ignore all which are not the self. You're only interested in objective existence self, but if it exists not. Subject to self-analysis, we see thin of the skin, and likewise the skeleton, the heart, lungs, so forth. The solid part which constitutes the element of earth, the element of water, the blood, element of fire, the body heat, element of air, element of space, and an element of consciousness. What are you seeing now? I'm seeing the six elements. Okay, where is the self as object real among the six elements? None among the six elements. None of the six elements to be identified as intrinsic as the one. It's empty of being intrinsic one with the self. If you're very sure of this, you've got a second essential. Now see if the self does exist objectively as different from the six elements. Remove the six elements. What happens? Nothing is left there. If you're sure of this, you got this the second essential. And ruling of the two possibilities rules out the objectivity of self. If you're sure of this, you got the fourth essential. Now tell me, what is saying? I'm just seeing six elements. And where is this self? The objective existence self in the ultimate analysis? Nowhere. Stay in this experience. Just pick up this isolate of the emptiness of objective existence of this I in the form of non-affirming negative. Okay, slowly transform this amazingly fearless wisdom of emptiness into a spotlessly clean, thumb-size white vajra, vertically sitting on the modesty of the heart. Okay, now amazing. You have the blaze of non-dual bodhicittas, moon at vajra. The moon is symbolic of the conventional bodhicitta, which is the aspiration to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. And the vajra is symbolic of the ultimate bodhicitta, the non-dual wisdom of emptiness of the Arya Bodhisattvas. Amazing, which will guarantee that all your mental developments will be got rid of, afflictive as well as cognitive obscurations. Wow. But let's not forget your two parents, your children, all of them members with you, and they are suffering terribly. Yes, generally, extremely strong compassion towards all these beings. And this compassion that you generated invokes the Vajramuni at your heart to multiply infinite number of times. Share one set of the Vajramuni at the heart of your mother, one set with your father, one set with each one of your family members, including children, with each of sentient beings, here in Bodhicitta, human beings, animals, insects, hunter-gatherers, spirits, god and goddesses, here in Bodhicitta, in India, in your own country, in the entire universe. Now every creature in the ocean, from the tiniest of the amoeba to the biggest of the blue whales, and every creature in the wilderness, in the forest, from the tiniest of the insects to the biggest of the elephants, all got their share of the wisdom, the blaze of non-dual bodhicittas from you. Amazing. Let's not forget that all Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they're watching us since the beginning of the practice. Why not we invite all Buddhist Bodhisattvas to be the guests and the witness to our undertaking the ceremony of taking the expression Bodhisattva vow. As a gesture of making this request, along with all the sentient beings, that slowly started to make three prostrations to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas. Okay, if possible, please sit on your right knees. on your right knees, and then the in between, if you start to feel the pain, and then you can sit down in a comfortable way. The pain should not disturb your reflections. Okay, I'm going to quickly explain the first verse, the three verses once more, given that this is the last day for this retreat. The Okay, so what we're doing is that we are we are thinking of awakening our Buddha nature within us, which is also known as wanting to become enlightened, wanting to become Buddha yourself, which means that you are undertaking a journey, is a mental journey. And then the journey means that a journey which you have never undertaken before. And this is the most important journey. At the same time, it's quite a long journey. And as such, we require incredible support. And the greatest of the support that you can think of is the Triple Gem. So the first line says, I go for refuge in the Triple Gem. So now you have the greatest support, but the journey involves a road. If the road is blocked by the boulders, the fallen trees, and so forth, again you cannot undertake the journey. So the road must be clear, and this road is a metaphor. It's nothing but your own mind, which you're going to employ as the way to the Buddhahood. And this mind should not be blocked by the mental defilements, negativities. So remove the negativities, and most effectively you can do that within a short span of time. You can do that by confessing negativities. Second line says, I confess the negativities individually. Now the road is clear, but if the car does not have the enough fuel, again you cannot undertake the journey. This car is none other than your own mind. This mind requires a whole lot of fuel of the virtues. And again, but a very effective way by which to accumulate so much virtues within a short span of time is by rejoicing in the virtues of yourself and all the sentient beings. So the third line says, I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. Now that you have incredible great support for the journey, the road is clear, the car has enough fuel, what kind of journey are you going to undertake? So the fourth line says, I hold the precious Buddha in my heart, the journey of Buddhahood. Okay, let's say this 3 times together wholeheartedly, visualizing all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas are with us, and that the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas are like your parents. Knowing that you are, for the first time, you as a little girl, little boy, for the first time in your life, you are going to make a public appearance on behalf of your school, and your parents, whatever they have to do that day, they leave that behind, and they join the audience waving their hands to you to give you moral support, and they feel so proud of you. This is exactly what is happening to all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. And then you, as a very extremely loving and responsible little girl, little boy, you then bring all your siblings with you to take part in the program. This is exactly what you're doing to all the dear sentient beings like your small, the siblings. So with this mind, wholeheartedly, let's say it three times together. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. 2 times, 3 times. 2 times. Okay. Now the next 2 verses very important. Say the actual ceremony of taking the aspiration bodhisattva vow, and you invoke the gurus, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to pay heed to us. And then the first verse is about the who on the earth succeeded in benefiting all the beings. Browsing through the history of the humanity, we see that there was one Prince Siddhartha, who succeeded in this. And how did he succeed? Now, after 2,500 years ago, years later, and after him, still millions and billions of human beings, animals, insects, hungry ghosts, hell beings, continuously being benefited from this enlightened great teacher, the Buddha. How come that he succeeded? He succeeded that based on the 2 factors which he created. The first factor is extremely powerful motivation, the motivation Bodhicitta. The second factor, To materialize this aspiration of bodhicitta, he engaged in the bodhisattva practices referred as the six perfections and 10 perfections. Six perfections such as generosity, ethical discipline, patience, enthusiasm, meditative concentration, and wisdom. Plus 4, making 10 perfections. Plus 4, the skillfulness, aspiration prayers, the power, and the primordial wisdom. So engage in these practices to materialize this aspiration of the bodhicitta, thereby remove all the mental defilements, and then finally he became the Buddha. Then with great confidence he started to give teachings to protect the beings from the miseries. So if this is how he succeeded, the next verse, I will follow his footsteps. I will also create these two factors, generate very strong aspiration bodhicitta, and to fulfill this aspiration, I will engage in bodhisattva practices. Okay, together. And you are leading this, and all beings join you, all sentient beings join you, like your siblings. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train the bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train the bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train the bodhisattva practices. Feel the joy of having received the aspiring bodhisattva vow. We are extremely fortunate all these 10 days, except for 1 or 2 days, we engaged in this practice. Extremely meritorious, like the mother after all these many years receiving complaint from the school principal. Today when she saw the school principal coming up, again very apprehensive, what kind of complaints? And the principal said, no, we came here to congratulate you. For what? That your daughter and your son, although they are so young, they are appointed as the best students of the school for this year. And the mother could not believe her eyes and ears. They are so proud of you today. This is exactly what happens to all bodhisattvas. Witness what you are doing today. All these innumerable lifetimes, they always expect that you don't do in negative actions, negative karmas, so that you don't have to suffer. But we, on the contrary, we've been always engaged in negative karmas, inappropriate self-grasping ignorance, inappropriate tension, contempt, afflictions, contempt, karmas, thus suffer innumerably, extensively. Then they always wish that we engage in virtues so that we experience happiness. On the contrary, we shun our misery, we shun our virtues all the time, thereby remaining deprived of the happiness all the time. And today what you did, this just made the day. They were so happy, so proud. They're so proud. Like the mother. So this pride and happiness all the Bodhisattvas feel invoke the Vajramoon, full-fledged form of the Vajramoon within them to multiply infinite number of times. Like rain shower, they descend to merge with the one that visualize at your heart, thereby becoming non-dual, stabilized, and blessed. Likewise, all these right because Vajramoon from Bodhisattva, they descend like rain shower, descend to merge with the one that visualize the heart of your mother, and the heart of the father, and the heart of each of one of family members, including children, and each of sentient beings here in Bodhicitta, in India, in your country, in the entire universe. Every creature in the vast oceans, from the tiniest amoeba to the biggest blue whales, in the wilderness, from the tiniest insects to the biggest of the elephants, everyone, the Vajramoon that you shared with them, they are being blessed by the Vajramoon from all the Bodhisattvas. That's amazing. Become non-dual, stabilized and blessed. This, of all the gifts that you can potentially think of, make giving to the sentient beings. This is the greatest gift. This is today you have gifted this present to all the beings and of all the offerings. This is the greatest of the offering. Imagine what the Buddha taught. One moment of generating compassion far excels the gifts of the whole universe filled with gems and offered to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. If this were to be the case, what I mentioned of our having taken the expression Bodhisattva today, this is the best offering that you can think of making to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Today you have made this. And of your life, from your life, we see that this is the greatest of the meaning. And there's nothing more meaningful than this, and particularly when you practice the Dharma well, over time you realize, indeed, this is the most meaningful thing for myself, for this life, for the future life, for other sentient beings, short term, long term, for all. This is the greatest of the purpose of my life. And today you have given such a purpose to your life. All these wonders are happening because of the blessings of all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. As a gesture of thanking them, along with all demons and beings, let us slowly stand up to make three prostrations to all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. Okay, in the text, there's a mention that when the Bodhisattva vows are taken, that of course, with the more realized beings, the more realized on a very high level, and then say some people who are actually who have this ability to see the miracle things, they can feel that the earth is shaken, and these indications are there as the auspicious indication that something so auspicious happened. Okay. So with this in mind, now the next part, which is that what we did in this life today and the last 10 days, we have practiced this, and we see that this is of tremendous meaning, the wisdom of emptiness and Bodhicitta, and then taking the expression Bodhisattva, so precious. And we see that so what about the next life? This journey is not just one life journey, it's a many lives journey, for which first of all, we continue to meet with these teachings. For example, some people, they get opportunity to be in the best of the universities, but they waste their time. So likewise, some people, they come in contact with the Dharma, but they don't really too serious. So what we require two things. One is that, and some people, they have tremendous enthusiasm to study. They don't come in the contact with the good universities. So therefore, they did not have the opportunity. So we need two things. One, we should come in contact with a good university, and then you should be serious. Two things, so that you make the most of our being in this university. Likewise, in the future lifetimes, two things required. Number one, that we should come in contact with these teachings, teaching of the Buddha, and more precisely as explained by the Enlightened Masters. Contact with these. This is so precious. Then, once you come in contact, make sure that we rigorously engage in this. Two things required for the contact. Of course, we need to create the conducive factors, encouraging others also into this path, and yourself also. No jealousy. Instead, rejoice in others engaging in this practice. So this will, and including them in the form of very powerful prayer. These will be the factors for you to come in contact with this tradition, with these teachings. Once having come in contact with this, then next thing is that you rigorously engage in this. How to make it happen is by in this life connecting the practice, bodhicitta practice, wisdom practice with the joy. So the following verses we read. One is a prayer, very powerful prayer, and the next is to create the joy, to connect the link these practices with the joy. So the next life and the future lifetimes, when you hear these words like bodhicitta, compassion, wisdom, emptiness, instantly the joy comes in you. Extremely profound nostalgia can come to you. Reminiscence or the nostalgia come to you, and then you go in search of that, and then you rigorously engage in this. Okay, page 51, the first verse. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even in the cosmic life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even in the cosmic life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even in the cosmic life. In order to further increase this bodhicitta from now on, those with discernment who have lucidly seized and awakened the mind of bodhicitta in this way should highly praise it in the following manner. Today my life has borne fruit. Having well obtained this human existence, I've been born in the family of a Buddha, and now am one of Buddha's children. Thus, whatever actions I do from now on must be in accord with the family. Never shall I disgrace or pollute this noble and unsullied race. Just like a blind man discovering a jewel in a heap of rubbish, likewise by some coincidence an awakened mind has been born within me. It is the supreme ambrosia that overcomes the sovereignty of death, is the inexhaustible treasure that eliminates all poverty in the world, is the supreme medicine that quells the world's disease, is a retreat that shelters all beings wandering in the tired and path of conditioned existence, is a universal bridge that leads to freedom from unhappy states of birth, is the dawning moon of the mind that dispels the torment of disturbing conceptions, is a great sun that finally removes the misty ignorance of the world. It is a quintessential butter from the churning of the milk of Dharma. For all those guests traveling on the path of conditioned existence who wish to experience the abundance of happiness, this will satisfy them with joy and actually place them in the supreme bliss. Today, in the presence of all protectors, I invite the world to be guests at a festival of temporary and ultimate delight. May gods, demigods, and all be joyful. Okay, with this, let us do the Darshan prayers. I dedicate the matter of Dasgatha towards the realization that is in the prayers of the Bodhisattva Soul 3 times and of the holding of the doctrine of scripture and insight, and may in all lives through the force of this merit, never separate from the four wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, perfectly in the 2 stages. From our 2 collections, vast the space that I've amassed, from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdom eyes blinded by ignorance. Deyata Om Gate Gate Pa Deyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvatyata. 3 prostrations.